Welcome, everybody, to this week's live episode of Strong Style here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw, John Rocha, joined as always by my man down there in Orlando. Got that nice track lighting going on there. Aaron Turner, how are you, my man?
Yeah, it's so nice outside. I'm just going to do it outside. Screw it. We'll do it outside now. So, yeah, a lot of stuff happened in the last half hour. So here we are.
Yeah.
Ready to talk about it.
We're going to try to cover it all, that's for sure. And can't thank you all enough for being a part of the show today. There's so much that we're going to get into. But first, I got to give a shout out to my brother, Aaron Turner, for helping me get this Hogan for Life shirt. Hogan Rules. He went down to the Hogan's Beach Shop down there in Florida and was able to get me this shirt and send it on to me. So I'm wearing this in honor and respect for Aaron Turner. Thank you, brother. I've been waiting to get this shirt for 20 years. So it's very kind of you, maybe even longer, I think. So it's very kind of you to be able to finally send this one up to me to wear on the show today.
It was worth the awkward conversation with the store's proprietor to get it done. And we don't need to go there, but let's just say it was very awkward. And I'm glad I don't have to go back for a while.
I'm glad for you as well. And before we get into everything, don't forget, everybody, the Streamlabs and Superchats are essential to keep us going here on the Outlaw Nation channel, and especially on Strong Style. So please send in your support. We're going to get into this a whole bunch of stuff. Zelina Vega being the top thing. We're going to talk about Sasha Banks in the Mandalorian, Alexa Bliss clapping back on some of the haters of the WWE, the Bella twins saying they've got another run for the title, AEW getting into the video games section of their catalog, and so much more to talk about here on Strong Style. Thanks for joining us live. And please send in those Streamlabs and Super Chats. You see the address right above Aaron's head, and we'll get into things. And thanks to everybody who was already being pretty lively in the chat already. So I can't wait to get this episode going. Let's get it on, Aaron. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you begin with? But this breaking news in the last hour or so, Zelina Vega is gone from WWE. They wished her the best in her future endeavors. This has to stem from the Twitch, YouTube, creator monetization thing that we've been talking about for weeks. Zelina did have a tweet that posted that she supports unionization, and either that was going to get you fired or you done already been fired to make a tweet like that. So here we go with one of the most, very talented individual. I would 100% say that. Yeah. One of the stars of this WWE this year, especially in the COVID times. Yeah, she's been really great and a really MVP for the WWE. Someone that's had this dream for a long time, finally made it to the WWE after some time in Impact and other places, and here she was at the big time, and now she's not now she's gone. Yeah. So where does WWE go from here? What was her ceiling in the WWE? I think they were grooming her to be a top star on SmackDown. That's why they separated her from Andrade and Angel Garza. I think she was going to get a women's title run eventually. Yep, she would have been a great foil for Sasha or a great foil for Bayley down the road. It's really disappointing because you hate to see stars of this caliber and what she could have been gone over some stuff that we could have resolved with a memo or something like that if we were more understanding.
Yeah, this is going to be fascinating to watch. She's had third-party accounts, as you just mentioned, on Twitch. She has that one with Aleister Black, Cameo, and Mixer. And look, her following on social media, it's only 383,000. This isn't like Mandy Rose with over 1 million. There are quite a number of the female wrestlers in the WWE who have high followings. Hers is 383,000. So I'm curious to see how she's going to make this transition. Is she going to go to another federation? Is she going to start all over again, building up her credibility in another location? WWE is the top dollar here. So, or is she going to go full bore into social media? Did she discover something in social media that she felt was more for her liking? And look, she doesn't have to put herself in harm's way. She doesn't have to risk injury almost every night doing these house shows, doing these pay-per-views, doing these shows overall, Monday, doing Raw or SmackDown. Like, this opens the door for her to kind of expand her brand and explore where she might fit next. Aleister's doing his thing still, but maybe she's found a following on Twitch that she can turn into a monetary replacement for what she was making there at the WWE. I don't know what Paige's now my eye turns towards Paige to see what she's going to do, Saraya, what she is going to do. But for me, I applaud Zelina Vega, leaving on her principles. Like she said an hour ago, the tweet that you just read, I support unionization. That was an hour ago. So I support the fact that she probably was just like, you know what? I can't keep doing this. You guys can't take money out of my mouth. I'm risking my life and my health to do this job for you as a freelancer. I've got other revenue streams to keep me alive and to support myself. You're trying to take money out of my pocket for your own benefit, and I don't want to be a part of it anymore. I'm going to go and see what I can create here. And Aaron, we've seen many wrestlers walk away from their careers and build successful businesses. Trish Stratus being one of the most successful coming out of the WWE. She retired on her terms, and it was her run was done. Zelina, she said, was ramping up into a bigger run. So maybe there's something here for her to explore outside the world of professional wrestling.
I do want to reiterate, you said that her Twitter following was 300,000. She does have 1.1 million on Instagram. So,
so there you go.
So there's that. Good. I don't have the Twitch numbers. I was trying to look it up, but I couldn't find it. I'm sorry. Paige did respond to Zelina Vega's tweet, or not the WWE's tweet, releasing her saying that it was so sad that they couldn't work anything out. Yeah. And Paige said, "Hey, I'm going to keep streaming." Yeah. So. And then Thea Trinidad, aka Zelina Vega, said the same thing. I'm going to keep streaming. My question becomes not only like what's next for Zelina Vega, what's next for Aleister Black?
Yeah.
Does he follow suit? Because they have the A to Z YouTube channel.
Right.
I don't know what his social media presence is. I don't know what his followers are. I could probably look that up. But I just kind of wonder. It makes it an awkward environment. Like think about CM Punk and AJ Lee. Like when CM Punk left on weird terms, that kind of left AJ in a weird spot. So you kind of wonder what's going to Aleister Black has 187.6 thousand followers on Twitter. So not a huge following for a WWE star, but it's still a lot of people to follow him. So I kind of wonder what's going to go on with that, how that's going to go. Yeah. Maybe nothing happens. It's another WWE thing where you just scratch your head and say, really? Yeah. At the expense of one of your greatest stars that you have right now? It's not like this is somebody that was on the brink of being released. Right. It's somebody like that. Like you would kind of look at, Lana that did the Bang commercials. Like you would kind of think that they would more have their eye on somebody like that than they would Zelina Vega. Yeah. But I could be wrong. And I really just wonder, I think back to CM Punk and I think about what he said in his documentary when he was talking about wearing fight shorts and he got some sponsorships and he was going to put the sponsors on his fight shorts when he wrestled. Now he went out and got these sponsorships and he just, no one else in the WWE helped him get them. No one else in the WWE was going out and getting these sponsorships. This was just Punk. And they said, no, you can't do that because for whatever reason. But then a couple months later, here's Brock Lesnar with his Jimmy John shorts on. You know what I'm saying? Like Jimmy John's over Jack Links and CM Punk can't do it. So it's just, I kind of have a feeling that if Brock Lesnar had a Twitch channel, no one would give a shit. And Brock Lesnar can do whatever he wants, but because it's Zelina Vega and it's Paige, it's these people that may not necessarily be your top tier stars that the WWE can get away with this crap.
Isn't this always the way it goes, no matter what sports field or even business field or entertainment? I should say this, no matter what entertainment field you are, no matter what iteration that is, whether it be sports or movies or professional wrestling or TV or what have you, there are people who can get away with more because they bring in more to the company. And so they can dictate terms about what appearances they do and don't do, how their looks and what have you, because they're coming in with an already established brand. I think what the WWE sees with Zelina is we built you up from where you were coming out of something like Impact and what have you. We're the ones who kind of got you to the next level here. So if we tell you to take it down, you take it down. Well, you can't control a human being if they don't want to be controlled. She's done with it. And you're right. She has 1.1 million followers and already put up a video saying, I'll see you on Twitch is what she said. Wow, with a little video already that she put up on her Instagram with the word muñeca, which is doll there on her Instagram. So she is, making her decisions to a woman. Look, She's absolutely a beautiful woman and very good at what she does. She figured out, and she was one of the first people I was watching from the WWE who got on Twitch, who in my mind got it. Do you know what I'm saying? Got it. And so understood how to market this in a certain way. So I have no qualms believing that she's going to be just fine once she really kind of is fully established on her own. Switching her name out, I think she's going to have to switch her name a little bit. That'll be the transition. But other than that, I think she's going to be fine. And because she seems like she has got a good head on her shoulders. This is her time. She's in her prime. She's smart. And I think she's going to be figuring this out and building out her own kind of revenue streams to come into. And she'll be doing promotions, supporting products. Like, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to work with her. And this is not the last shot across the bow on unionization, Aaron. Vince is dying out. Vince's idea is dying. This way of operating is dying out. I think as more and more wrestlers start to decide that they don't want to be in these situations, that they're dependent on whether Vince approves their need for specialists or not. I think more of these wrestlers are going to want those terms in place for themselves if they're going to risk themselves at the level that they're risking themselves nowadays doing this product.
And the question now becomes, who's on the phone with her right now? Is Tony Khan at AEW on the phone with her?
Right.
Is Don Callis at Impact on the phone with her? You both have to be, because if you're not calling her right now to figure out what her availability is, you're insane. Because she's not only is she good, not only is she good in front of the camera and a decent wrestler, but she's also somebody you can have like in your women's division that little girls can look up to.
Right.
And she doesn't have all these bad things in her background that would make you question her. So she's kind of like, she's a good employee to have. You look at the resume and you're like, wow, okay, I could really use her.
Right.
So I could see AEW bringing her in real quick. I don't know if she's clean released, if she has a 90-day non-compete. I'm not sure what happened with the terms of the release. I don't have that yet. But if she's free and clear, if she's not on AEW Wednesday or the next week, what are we even doing here? Or the other thing I was thinking about was, did WWE let her go and just to see if anybody else wants to go too? Right. And then WWE finally like kind of breaks off, like says, okay, we're going to take it easy on the Twitch thing. We'll figure that out. And they bring her back. Yeah. That's what I'm going to think if she doesn't show up at AEW or Impact soon, that the WWE is just waiting to see if anybody else is going to try to go away. And then I think she's in kind of a holding pattern. That's what I tend to believe, that she's in a holding pattern and they just bring her right back.
Yeah. I saw this. Somebody posted something. I want to bring it up. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I was looking for it. Someone made a comparison. Is it closer here? But basically saying here it is. Shoeshine says, and firing her while still having not fired people like Velveteen Dream and Matt Riddle is telling. Certainly there was a lot of stuff going on with Velveteen Dream in the background and a little bit on the Matt Riddle, which he's pushed back on. But that is something as well, Aaron. They're easily fire a woman of color, but they'll keep men on who've been accused of certain things that are, like out of bounds. And I know Velveteen Dream is black, but like still keeping men on, but firing women. It's fascinating.
It's almost like WWE has a hostile work environment. Like I would never think that. It's like it's weird to work there. Or something.
I mean, how strange is that?
And we'll talk more about that later in another story.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
We got 76 y'all watching us live. Thank you so much. Give it a like here. Give this video a like as you're watching us. It's the likes and the comments that really help things. And also keep sending in those Streamlabs and their super chats. We appreciate them. Let's hit to them real quick here. Ratnik says, WWE makes me feel dirty. I'd rather give my views and money to people who talk about WWE than to WWE itself. Well, we're more than welcome to do that with us, Ratnik. Yeah,
that's your money. But I feel the same way. I feel the same way about WWE. Like any other company, I would have done like, I'm not going to go there. Like Chick-fil-A, I don't go to Chick-fil-A because they support, not supporting homosexuals. Right. Not into that. So I don't go to Chick-fil-A. That's why I don't go there. But the WWE has done so many shitty things. Like you would think that I would disown them, but I'm a hypocrite. And I still watch after like 29 years I've been watching the WWE. So They make me feel dirty all the time, but here I am trying to pretend like it's not a big deal. So, yeah, I'm a hypocrite, Ratnik. I'm a hypocrite.
Oh, come on. It's all right.
No, it's true.
There's a lot of people that, make their own decisions about their own, but I hear you. Justin Toner says WWE is going to regret letting Zelina Vega go. Such a stupid move. I hope she goes to AEW. She would be a godsend for their weak women's division. Yeah, what do you think about it, Aaron? Do you think she goes to AEW? Do you think somebody was mentioning she has a Bruce Cambosos. I hope it's Camboso says Zelina has a budding brand company that she developed on her own, even though her numbers may be smaller than her compatriots, but her followers are loyal. So do you think she walks back into a wrestling promotion immediately, even if there's a 60-day or 90-day non-compete? Would she want to at this point? Why risk your body when you can be using it to build your business?
Well, nothing builds a business better than being on TV every single week. That's true. Certainly could help.
That's a good point.
Mean, yeah, man, she would be a godsend for that AEW women's division, and not just that. Like we said, she's multi-talented. She's more of she's a 5-tool player, as they would say in baseball. She can talk on the mic. She can wrestle. She can be your cover girl on the magazine. She could be in photo shoots. She can be on the side of the production truck. She can do all of these different things.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different than just, the people that they have now in the women's division, which we don't really know. Mm-hmm. Like they're starting to build people up. They're building up Anna Jay and Tay Conti, and that's great. But Zelina Vega, to throw her in there with the likes of Britt Baker or Riho or Hikaru Shida, it's definitely a shot in the arm. That's for sure.
Yeah. Chris Taylor says Pro Wrestling Sheet reports Aaron Turner feels dirty watching the WWE. Oh, it's breaking news.
Well, I think the Zelina stuff's more important than me feeling dirty watching wrestling. Yeah.
And Chris, I don't know if anyone told you this, but Ryan Stanton's not at Pro Wrestling Sheet anymore, so they would not be reporting on what me or Aaron Turner are.
I don't know anybody there anymore, so I don't know.
I know Norm. That's for sure. He's a good guy. Anyway, So, and also, let me just before we wrap up on this particular subject and move on, Aaron. What happens to Andrade? What happens to the people who Zelina was connected to here? Yes, they haven't 100% been, under her tutelage, so to speak, since she's kind of gotten this little bit of a mini push here. But what happens to them now when you bring them, especially Andrade, who really wasn't good on the mic? So what do you do with him now at this point?
It's kind of scary, isn't it? I mean, they put him on opposite shows now. So Zelina was on SmackDown, Angel Garza and Andrade both on Raw. Mm-hmm. So that experiment really hadn't had a chance to run its course. I am a little nervous for Andrade more than Angel Garza because he doesn't speak English that well.
Right.
And that's not a knock. That's just, this is something that's a problem. I mean, it's not a problem, but it's an issue with Nakamura as well. Nakamura doesn't speak that good of English. So it's hard to talk people into a building. Yeah. If you understand what I'm saying, like it's hard to put Nakamura on the microphone or Andrade on the microphone and get them to hype a match when they can't really speak English in a Latino market. Oh my God, he's over like Rover, and as he should be. But it's going to be really difficult for him without a mouthpiece, unless his English has improved dramatically. I don't know. I mean, his fiance is English, so maybe she's teaching him, and maybe they're teaching each other.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I feel worse for Andrade than I do Angel Garza. I think he will be fine. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's where I worry.
Yep. I'm in the same boat with you, man, because I think that's what happens to Andrade. I mean, he could go the what's his face that had with the mask on, the two different guys playing the same Sin Cara. He could go the Sin Cara route where it was great for a little bit, and then he just kind of got forgotten and booked terribly. So I hope that doesn't happen to Andrade, because Andrade is such a great talent. So you got to find a valet or a manager who's going to step in and kind of guide Andrade back to prominence so that people can get behind him as well. Again, rather as a talent, because he's an awesome talent. So you want to see him do well for sure. So, I think both of us send our best wishes to Zelina. We hope she kind of lands where she wants to land and something positive comes out of it. And I hope her calls for unionization, her responding to Paige's tweet in early October when Paige said learned a lot about unionization. I hope this is the beginning of more and more wrestlers having the guts to stand up to Vince and Triple H and Stephanie and Shane and whoever the hell else is, and Linda, whoever the hell else is involved, and say, enough is enough. Start taking care of us. We're risking our lives. And yes, you're giving us a living, but you're also, if we're lower on the totem pole, we're probably having to jump through more hoops to get better and to heal up so that we can keep delivering the product towards you and for the fans. So unionization, I think, is essential for these wrestlers to stay alive. You can't depend on the whim of your boss if you get the right healthcare or not after you get injured. That's fucked up, you know? So I'm just putting it out there.
I just kind of wonder, we'll close this off here in a second, but I just wonder how many texts went out like when that hit Twitter in the wrestling universe, like in the wrestling circles with like the wrestlers and the executives, like how many people were like, yo, did you see what just happened? Yeah. And I just wonder how many people are kind of waking up. Like, does AJ wake up and he's like, you know what, maybe this isn't great, or you know, who's going to be next is my question. Who's next?
That's a great question. Who's next?
No, not Goldberg, but you know.
Anyway, all right. So, all right, let's move on to our next subject here. I don't see any more Streamlabs or super chats. Keep them coming in, folks. Show some support for the show, some love for our show as we take you into the 5 o'clock hour and probably a little bit beyond. What do we got next, man?
All right, so this is another kind of unscripted thing because I wasn't sure she was going to be on the episode this week. We're talking about Sasha Banks and the Mandalorian.
Oh,
what the heck? You know, John, you're the resident Star Wars expert here, so I normally would defer to you on this, but I did just finish watching, like right before we got on air. I finished watching the Mandalorian, and it is the one thing, I think I've said this before on here, but it's like the thing that brought me to Star Wars, like brought me back to Star Wars, because I didn't care for The Last Jedi. I really didn't like The Rise of Skywalker. I didn't like Rogue One was okay, and I didn't even watch Solo. So it kind of got me. And then The Mandalorian comes out. I'm like, I don't know. And I watched it. I was like, this is amazing. And then, you know, this season 2 has been even better, I would say. You know, as a Star Wars fan, I just love it to death. And then we saw Sasha Banks, as we saw in the trailer. She's now in this episode. This is episode 3, I believe.
Yep, episode 3.
Episode 3 of The Mandalorian season 2. She's playing Koska Reeves. And let's see, she doesn't really talk that much. She doesn't have that many lines.
Well,
but she does
no spoiler. If you haven't watched the episode, Aaron might be spoiling something. So just letting you know, if you haven't watched the episode, Aaron might be spoiling some things. So just letting you know before he goes any further. So if you haven't watched the episode, just skip about 5-8 minutes, and then keep going with the show after that. So go ahead. Yeah.
I forgot that it just dropped today. Sorry, everybody. I'm usually behind on The Mandalorian like a day or two, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, spoilers ahead. Yeah, she doesn't talk a lot in this episode, but her presence is definitely felt. I thought she did a great job for, you know, as much as she was on screen, she looked intimidating. She looked really cool in her Mandalorian armor. She looked like a real badass, and I thought she did great.
Yeah. I thought so too. You know, they weren't going to ask too much of her. She's not a trained actress, so to speak. You know, so I think you got exactly what you needed to get from her. But you can also tell her instincts are good. As an actor watching another actor, she doesn't overplay the moments. She doesn't do exaggerated eye rolls or exaggerated like she would do sometimes as the character of Sasha Banks. In some of these interactions lately with Bailey and what have you, throughout her career, really. In this, she's more reserved, more composed. She still has her moment to look the Mandalorian up and down like he's short, but it's all done in the flow of the scene, and she plays it well. When they focus on her face, she does not give too much away, and so you like that. And the action sequences, I imagine there might have been stunt doubles, but maybe she did her own action sequences, and if she did a kick-ass job doing it. So what they gave her to do, she did well with, and that's what you really want to see from someone. And remember, this is her first acting role. Other than being Sasha Banks in the WWE, this is her first like big acting role, and so there could be a lot of pressure on you, and you're acting with, you know, a bunch of people there who have a lot of credibility. Bryce Dallas Howard is directing you. Jon Favreau has written your lines, so there's a lot of expectation there. And I thought she did well for what she was given. I thought she did well, and there may be more coming down the pike from her, depending on how they weave these Mandalorians that they meet in this episode, who the Mandalorian meets in this episode, how they weave them into the overall story arc of this season. We shall see.
I was trying to like rack my brain a little bit about like where this ranks among cool things that WWE superstars have done.
Oh yeah,
outside of wrestling. And I'm like, well, of course, The Rock is like the biggest star in Hollywood. So that's like obviously number one. And I was thinking like John Cena's in the Fast and Furious, but he hasn't really done, and he's in the new Suicide Squad. So he's got that going. So maybe that's number 2 or 3. And then, Batista was Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy, which is pretty huge. But I got to think that like Sasha Banks in The Mandalorian is got to be up there. That's got to be top 3 of like coolest things that they've done outside of wrestling. Like it's so awesome to see her in a Star Wars TV show, Star Wars universe. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, with Cena, you've got 2 things going on right now. Obviously, you talk about Suicide Squad, but also they're doing a Peacemaker series on HBO Max,
right?
Which Cena will be starring in, and he's co-executive producing the series. That's money.
That's huge.
That's huge. And then also he will be by now we would have seen him in Fast 9. Yeah. So next year we will see him in Fast 9. So Cena is slowly establishing himself in multiple franchises, doing commercials now. He's doing voiceover for commercial campaigns now, which is really pissing me off. So I mean, like he's blowing up. He's exactly. He's making his money, son. So you got to give him respect that he's doing that. But I mean, look, Batista was in a Bond film. That's pretty cool.
That's true.
He was in
Blade Runner 2049.
He was Blade Runner 2049 as well. So
he's in Dune.
He's in Dune. So a lot of these wrestlers are branching out to do their own thing and lay some more credibility in the jump. The Rock paved the way, and everyone coming afterwards is doing their thing. So it's good to see. Xavier Black Wiley says Mercedes Vernado, aka Sasha Banks, did great with her 2 lines. By the way, this is the first time I knew this was her name. I had never known that Sasha Banks' name was a different name than Sasha Banks. So because that seems like a logical name to have. So Mercedes Vernado, though, an even better name. I like Mercedes Vernado. That's an awesome name.
I saw people in the chat asking if they said Sasha Banks in the credits. No, they used her real name.
Right.
She posted a picture of it of her by the TV with the credits. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Let me see if I've got no super chats have come. I mean, no Streamlabs have come in. So I hit this last super chat. It says Chris Taylor, what happens if the NWO never got over? Wow.
WCW would have gone down much sooner than they did.
I think that's a fair point.
But then again, without the NWO, you may not have had DX. So Triple H may have never got over. So that's a tough question.
The Attitude Era doesn't happen without the NWO, right?
Yeah.
So both the WWE and the WCW maybe sink into oblivion as circus acts instead of the incredible second renaissance they had in the mid-90s, battling each other for prominence in the world of professional wrestling. So yeah, the NWO is essential, which is why I hate when people hate on the NWO, because they go, you don't understand what the fuck you're talking about. The NWO was essential to saving this business. It was a shot in the arm that people needed to save this business. Hogan and Nash and Hall. Whatever you feel about Hogan, he has been at the forefront of changing and saving this business many times in his career. And from WrestleMania 1 to the NWO and beyond, the guys, even the reality show did well for a long time. So this guy has his things. Yes, of course, all the other stuff that he did off camera, and of course the recording is terrible. And some of his treatment to the wrestlers, I know, has been terrible behind the scenes. But he was prominent. He was essential in making sure this business stayed alive for as long as it has. So just giving him some love. That's all I'm saying.
Quick shout out in the chat to Hill Nellums. Hill,
thank you, Hill.
He says Roddy Piper, They Live. Yeah. How did I forget about that? I don't know how I forgot about that. Of course, John Nada and They Live, of course. And you got to think of Jesse the Body Ventura and those and Predator,
right?
And Over the Top and all those other Arnold Schwarzenegger vehicles and crap he was in the. Not crap. Predator's great, even though you think it's a B movie. It's great.
It is a B-list movie.
That's
what is wrong with you all?
It's not.
It is a B-list movie.
We'll talk about it another time. But
Jesus Christ.
But yeah. So yeah, that was good. Yeah, John Nada is iconic. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Hill. How dare I forget? Oh, Zeno Hour's just trolling. Don't troll, Zeno. You know better. You know it's true. But you know better. You don't put that in. You don't put that in the chat.
Riding the coattails of Hogan. All right, let's. Let's move on to our next storyline here, or subject.
All right, let's get fired up in here. It's time to get fired up. Well, Brie Bella and Nikki Bella, both recent new mothers. This would be Brie Bella's second child, Nikki Bella's first child. And they were on Access Hollywood talking to Mario Lopez. And he asked the question, are the Bellas done with WWE? Are you done wrestling? Or is there maybe one more run left in you? And Brie Bella said, and I quote, "This is what's hard for Nikki and I. When we left, all of a sudden the WWE women's tag titles came and we're like, wait a second, that's for the Bella Twins. We've been dying to have tag titles. So she and I felt like we have one more run in us, and we really want to go for those tag titles." So, okay, so it looks like maybe somewhere down the road that the Bella Twins could return. And before I start, do you want to see that? And what is their legacy to you in the WWE?
You're asking me, do I want to see the Bella Twins come back? I have not always been the biggest fan of the Bella Twins. When they first started out, to me, I saw them as, just kind of glorified, hot-looking girls who can wrestle, or who can kind of wrestle. But clearly, they've become so much more than that as a brand. And they certainly attract many, many people to watch what they do on their reality shows. And they built a legacy in the WWE. Some people still hate the Bellas. You got to respect their legacy, though. You got to respect what they've been able to do in the business. And I understand that feeling of like leaving something and then all of a sudden they create something that you would like to have a shot at. So no surprise at all that the Bella Twins want to come back and get another shot. And why not? We've seen plenty of wrestlers leave for a while and then come back. I mean, Hogan got the strap again at a very advanced age, and the Bella Twins are nowhere near the age Hogan was when he won that belt. So we've seen Goldberg coming back and winning the overall company championship again. So, I mean, that happens here in pro wrestling all the time. So why not bring the Bellas back? Are we needing these storylines to develop? Do we need them to come back? And do you think they've been training? Do you think they're ready to put the time in as moms to kind of get ready to get in the ring and fight? That's the thing, right? That's what you have to ask yourself. Are they willing? Do they have the time to do what they need to do to get back into fighting shape and get in that ring and not blow up while they're fighting and lose, kind of get too tired or lose their energy or whatever? Do they have that time to do that?
Okay, I'm going to hold the microphone in my hand, so if I'm a little loud, I apologize. I'll tell you what's wrong with this is everything is wrong.
Okay, all right.
Because the Bella Twins absolutely suck. They have no business coming back to the WWE.
Wow.
Brie Bella, you're dangerous in the ring. You knocked Liv Morgan's head off. You kicked her in the face.
That's true.
You knocked her unconscious and didn't even realize it. You've hurt other people too. I'm done with you. You got 2 kids, which is not, I mean, that is what it is, but be healthy for your kids and stay there for your kids. Then again, the same could have said about Daniel Bryan. So whatever. But Brie Bella, don't try to tell me that you have one more run left and you didn't have a run to start with. Oof. And then let's go ahead and we'll just talk about Nikki Bella. I mean, guys, you can give me all the heat you want for this. Nikki Bella, you got some penthouse boobies, but you got a dime store neck.
Wow.
So I cannot believe that she would even entertain the idea of coming back to the WWE to wrestle when she was almost paralyzed in doing so. And I know that, orthopedics and there's spinal fusion neck surgery and different things out there that can fix your neck. I mean, we saw Edge come back from something that we never thought we would see. Nikki Bella, you're not Edge. Okay? You're not Edge. I'm sorry. I don't want to see this. Number one, I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want Nikki to be hurt and in a wheelchair, especially when she's got such a young child. That would be awful.
True.
To do that. So let's not even entertain this idea. I don't see the Bella Twins legacy the same as other people do. The biggest argument that I hear is that, they were so popular that, they had total Bellas and total divas, and that got more female watchers to the product. Absolutely. That is something that is a great accomplishment to have. But that doesn't mean that you have this great legacy, because let me ask you this, John.
Yep.
What's your favorite Nikki Bella match? What's your favorite Brie Bella match?
I know you can't really ask.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, right. I mean, I can't really answer that. I think maybe the one against Stephanie, but then the way it ended was so clunky. So I can't even. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I can't tell you my favorite Nikki Bella match or my favorite Brie Bella match. I'm sure there are plenty of people who can, though.
Can you name me a good Sasha Banks match off the top of your head?
About 10 of them. I can name you about 10 of them.
See, there you go. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference between those two types of wrestlers. And now you can also say that at the time, maybe when Nikki Bella was the champion, they didn't have the best of competition. They had, okay, Maurice was the champion. Okay, Kelly was a champion. Eve was a champion. Maybe they didn't have the best going on. Beth Phoenix was still there. Melina was still there. Mickie James was still there. So don't tell me they didn't have like the best competition they could go up against. I'm so over the Bella Twins. I just cannot get down with this idea. I think they're Hall of Famers. I'll give you that. I think they are. But then again, the bar for the Hall of Fame is so low these days, it doesn't matter anymore to me. So I don't want to see him back for reasons that I don't want them to get hurt, and I don't want them to hurt anybody. So that's it. That's all I got to say about the Bella Twins. Goodbye.
All right, real quick, let's get some responses. Ratnik says botch mode. Oh, that's that is hardcore, but botch mode. Eric Conley said, finally, someone tells it like it is with these celebrity wannabe Bellas. Bye. There we go. Gramash says Brie did poorly, but Nikki is great. And then let's see. But yeah, Dang MQ says Brie is credited for convincing her husband to try to return to the ring. Certainly. For Daniel Bryan to come back. Certainly. Then here, the Bella Cena relationship buried the Miz at WrestleMania just for it to end in flames, says Ratnik. Can you give a little background on that?
Yeah. So the Miz and Maurice did this great build to WrestleMania. I should know I was there. I think it was WrestleMania 33 in Orlando. It ended up being Maurice and The Miz versus Nikki Bella and John Cena in a tag match. And The Miz and Maurice cut such scorching promos on John and Nikki. Like, it was incredible to watch. They did these skits where Maurice and The Miz dressed up as Cena and Nikki, and Maurice was so funny. Like, I miss that Maurice. Like, she was so great, but Maurice was also pregnant at the time, so they couldn't really have a full-blown match for obvious reasons. And also, they had the looming storyline of John Cena and Nikki Bella. Were they going to get engaged? Were they not going to get engaged? So, of course, they win, and they do the whole engagement in the ring kind of thing, which really nobody in the crowd wanted. Nobody wanted that.
Yeah.
No offense, but it's just, it really overshadowed everything that the Miz and Maurice were doing, especially the Miz. It kind of buried him for a while until he had the stuff with Daniel Bryan, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
Before we go on, Dang MQ says that PW Insider's reporting that Zelina Vega has the standard 90-day non-compete. So that is pretty standard for most contracts. Yeah. They get the 90-day non-compete. So
right.
There you go. There you have it.
No surprise there. Okay. All right. So we'll keep it. Let me see if there's any Streamlabs that have rolled through. No Streamlabs, no super chat. So keep sending them in if you can. We got to, like I say, we live and breathe by the Streamlabs and super chats you sent in during the run of the show. Make sure you give a like as well. There's only 47 likes on this thing. We got over 80 you all watching us live. So please give it a like and give it some love in that way. Even if you can't donate, hit that like button. We'd really appreciate it. All right. What's our next thing, Aaron?
I do want to know what everybody in the chat thinks of the Bellas. I know it was pretty hard on them, but I want to know what you guys think. Like, am I off base? I mean, I can be. I kind of go off.
It feels like a lot of people agree with you.
That feels good. Okay,
Bellas should stay out of the ring.
All right, well. Okay, our next story is Alexa Bliss. This is a very female-heavy episode. I like this. This is nice. This is a nice change of pace. Alexa Bliss clapping back at the criticism of WWE wrestlers being classified as independent contractors. This is something that we just talked about with Zelina Vega, and this is something that we've been talking about a lot lately. Let me read Alexa Bliss's comments here. This is from Allison Rosen is Your Best Friend, that podcast, so definitely check that out. This was transcribed by WrestlingInc.com. I have to give them credit there. Let me get down to these comments here.
How did she get Bliss? How did she get Alexa Bliss? I need to know.
I think she's on the approved list of people that can interview. I think she's just I think she does a lot of female interviews.
Okay. She's got 5,000 subscribers. That's incredible to get someone like Alexa Bliss with 5,000 subscribers. Pretty incredible.
She did it. Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. Absolutely good for her. Go ahead.
Yeah. Bliss was asked if there are any pressure competing. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Bliss was asked if there's any pressure on her for competing hurt or sick due to her independent contractor status. Mm-hmm. And she said, WWE takes care of us 100%. We are all in contract, and anything that happens inside the ring, WWE takes care of us. Our health is 100% a priority. Our health and safety is 100% priority in the company. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we're living in the middle of a cancel culture where people try to start rumors and make their assumptions of things, and there's never been a time where I felt uncomfortable about being in the ring or have ever felt forced to be in the ring. Even when I was injured, I had concussions, and Vince said, all right, well, we're going to send you to the best specialist there are. And he did. I saw a concussion specialist, and they went above and beyond to take care of me, and I know that everyone feels this way.
I don't think she knows that everyone feels this way.
Toe the company line. Are you kidding me with this crap?
Yeah.
I love Alexa, but what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. She's towing the company line, John. Like, that's exactly what she's doing. She's like, don't, Zelina Vega, no unionization, don't fire me. Yeah. They take great care of us. Like, does someone have a gun to her head off screen? Like, what is going on here? I couldn't even believe what I was reading. Like, a lot of people don't feel that way.
Yeah.
So tell me what you thought of this. I know she's your girl, so tell me what you thought of it.
Yeah, but look, this is the honest truth about me. You could be my girl or my boy. I'm still going to call something out. That's my job on these shows, is to give you my honest, unfiltered opinion about something that we're looking at here. And look, her saying the cancel culture thing, that's absolutely ridiculous. Toss that out. First of all, I don't believe there's cancel culture. I don't agree or believe that. That's just fake news type of slogan that people come up with to cover up the fact that if you're an inappropriate person, you don't deserve to have your platform. It's just that simple. And people are going to call you out for it. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if you say inappropriate things, people are going to call you out for it. That's how this business works. Lord knows I've said dumb shit in the past and been called out for it by friends and what have you, and fans or viewers who've watched my stuff. That's the game when you're doing this kind of thing. So there's not a cancel culture. There is, hey, I don't like what you said. I'm not going to patronize your stuff anymore. And that's every viewer and listener's right as a human being to not want to listen, or if they think you're putting out information that's incorrect or wrong or offensive or inappropriate or is hurtful to people or could cause damage to people, they have a right to crusade to have your voice silenced. I think that's a part of how the game works in this business. All right, so she says the WWE takes care of us 100%. She's talking about everybody, by the way. She's saying everybody, right? We are all in a contract, and anything that happens inside the ring, WWE takes care of. Our health is 100% a priority, blah, blah, blah. We're living in the middle. People try to start rumors and people try to start rumors. So already undercutting what other wrestlers who've left the business or left WWE have legitimately said about how the WWE handled their physical health when they were injured. And this goes all the way back to the 80s with Vince and those lawsuits that were recently shot down, unfortunately, about a lot of the older wrestlers having to suffer through mistreatment by Vince for how they handled their health back then, kind of like the NFL did with the older players in those concussion lawsuits. So she doesn't know what she's, in my opinion, I don't think that she's correct here. In my opinion, I think she thinks she knows what she's talking about, and she has a strong opinion about it. But she's also coming from a place of privilege. She is one of the top stars in the WWE, Aaron, for years. One of the top stars. She is taken care of. She sells merch like crazy. They give her the top spots. They've hung belts on her consistently for a long time. I want to hear from the lower rung status wrestlers who have to constantly suffer with their storylines being changed, their characters being changed, try to make it all work for years and years. And I want to see what their experience is like when they get hurt. Did WWE send them to the best specialists or the lower rung specialists? Because we've seen this before where they take care of their cash cows, but there are other wrestlers who aren't bringing in the same amount of money. They don't take care of at the same level. So I would like to have evidence and support that Alexa has, affidavits from every single wrestler that is employed by the WWE who 1,000% agrees with what she said. This is what's irresponsible about generalizations, right? Be specific. Just say, in my experience, and in the experience of the people that I've spoken to, this is our experience. When you say everyone feels this way, that means you think you're speaking for everybody. And I don't think she is, in my opinion. And I think it's irresponsible to say something like that because, like you said, it feels like she is towing the company, like Seth Rollins did going back, or Randy did talking about some of these independent wrestlers and all of that, pushing back against the world they came from. Just to toe the company line and get those ducats in the bank accounts. To me, it bothers me a lot when you're punching down. Anybody who punches down bothers me a lot, man.
Yeah, Roberto Arsenal just put in, if you can pull it up on screen there, it's the latest one. Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss both had concussions. I want to hear Liv Morgan's side of her story dealing with the concussion, since they really have never given her a push. That's excellent. That's a very astute comment, because I want to know too. What did she go to every specialist when she got knocked out by Brie Bella? Is that what happened to Liv Morgan? Probably not. I don't think that a Ruby Riott, if she tears her shoulder, she's not going to Alabama to go to like the best specialist in the world. She's going to go down to some Jamoke in Orlando. Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Right. And devil's advocate, there's no devil's advocate, Christopher. This is absolutely, or Chris, rather, this is absolutely the truth. She's in a higher tier than 100%. Other wrestlers. So 100%. She's going to be treated differently, absolutely different than other wrestlers. And for her to speak like her experience is everybody's experience is completely irresponsible of her to do so. And, I guess that means I won't be on the approved interview list, but I'm going to tell you how I really feel about these situations. And I don't hold back. That's how I approach life. And yes, CM Punk said the same thing, how they treated him and his injuries and what he went through. So is he making up rumors and contributing to cancel culture, or is he telling it like it is and calling people out for the mistreatment? This idea that people want to protect businesses that mistreat other people is mind-blowing to me. She doesn't have to respond in this way. As I said, there is a way to respond where you're not negating the experiences of other people while you're speaking about your own experience, and this is a white girl who's privileged, who's been a person they pushed forward for quite some time. That doesn't mean she didn't work hard for it. She absolutely did. She's sacrificed. She's taken injuries and what have you, but she's always been seen as a top tier talent and personality, right? I want to hear what Dana Brooks' experience is like. I want to hear what these other female wrestlers, who's the one that let go from the Riot Squad? Sarah Logan. I want to hear what Sarah Logan's experience is like. I want to hear what some of these other lower rung wrestlers, I don't mean lower in terms of talent, I mean lower in terms of status, what their experience has been like. And most of the times what we've heard is it has not been a good experience health-wise once they get injured and trying to get back into the conversation for belts and what have you. So,
it's like when I read this whole story, I was just like, this can't be true. This looks like that brown noser at work that you just want to kick in the face. Like, come on, man. Like, this is such brown nosing bull crap.
Yeah.
And for her, we look up to you, Alexa. We know you've had issues. She talked about that too in the interview about picking storylines with her and Nia Jax and the body shaming. Yeah, it wasn't a good story. Like, sorry, it just didn't work out. And it's just, I don't know. I'm a little frustrated with what she said, especially after all the stuff with Zelina Vega and Ratnik. Another good one from Ratnik. He says, "Let's hear from Mickie James." Yeah, let's hear from Mickie James about her injury. Did she go to all the best specialists?
Right.
Like, come on now, God, Alexa, just be better. Like, just when someone asks you something about that, just give like the standard. Just the standard answer of we don't need to talk about that right now, or
right?
Something like that,
or just speak from my experience. That's it's 3 words. From my experience, and then people know how to frame your response.
Not everybody feels the same way that I feel.
Right, exactly. That's so irresponsible. And she's there's another thing at the end where she says, "No one forced me. No one ever. I never felt comfortable being in the ring, and she's never felt forced to be in the ring." I don't know if I 100%. I mean, the stuff with Ronda. The stuff with Ronda, you tell me she wasn't uncomfortable to be in the ring with Ronda and risk the injuries that she risked at Ronda's hands? I don't know if that's 100% true. Yeah.
I don't think she's going to say something like that. Like, why would you say that? Oh, I'm uncomfortable in the ring. This is an unsafe work environment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't believe her for 1 second.
Yep, agreed. All right, let me see if I've got any more Streamlabs or Super Chats to read. I do not. Please keep sending in some support for the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We need your support to keep these shows going and keep this channel on the air. So please, thank you so much for watching us here. Give us a like if nothing else. We're at 92 viewers right now. So, Aaron, what's our next story?
Send in $1. Support the Bella Twins. Anyway, so this one's a little bit lighter. We're talking about AEW announcing a games division where they will be making mobile games. They're going to be making platform games. It looks like we're going to get an AEW game. They showed some early, very, 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 very early footage of Kenny Omega wrestling Chris Jericho. They showed Karu Shida. They showed John Moxley. Very, 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 I cannot reiterate, very, 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 very early. Now, the question becomes, what kind of video game is this going to be? Well, Kenny Omega said that it's going to be in the vein of a No Mercy. Is that something you would be interested in? If you remember No Mercy,
No Mercy
and
was great.
WrestleMania 2000, WCW NW Revenge, WCW versus the World, one of the best games ever. And now they have Ukes in their corner. And now who is Ukes? They publish some of the best WWE games that there has ever been. Future media creators of Ukes have always created great games. Now, the WWE 2K series, like Rocha and I were talking about this off air because Rocha bought a PS5 and he was asking me, hey, are there any good wrestling games out? And I said, oh, boy, do we need to talk about something. So WWE 2K19 comes out. Well, 2K gets the series, I think, since 2K12, I think. So 2011, I think, is how long they've had this license. And so the 2K series goes on and on and on, and it's okay.
Right.
It's okay up to a certain point. 2K19 I thought was pretty good. And then 2K20 comes out, and it is a shit show. The character renders are bad. The collision detection is awful. You got people going through the ring. It's an awful, terrible glitch fest. It's a broken game that they released and just tried to pass it off as, oh, look at this. This is great. So terrible, awful, awful game. I have it. I've played it. It is terrible. Like, a few things can be saved, like maybe the Fiend render is okay, but that's really about it. And it's so bad. So 2K said, all right, we're not going to come out with a WWE 2K21, which would have probably been out by this time already. So we're just going to take a year off, or we're going to take some time off to figure it out. So instead, they came out with 2K Battlegrounds, WWE 2K Battlegrounds, which is more of like an arcade, your NFL Blitz, your NBA Jam type of thing, where they're very cartoony, and like Stone Cold will stun you and you'll fall into an alligator or something crazy like that. So it took a lot of time off, and AEW has slid right into that spot where there is a niche needed, there's a replacement needed right there. They get with probably the best publisher, or not publisher, but the best producing company you can get within Ukes as far as wrestling games. They know the business. They've made wrestling games for 30 years. I think they know what they're doing at this point, and they just slide right into that spot. I'm looking forward to it, man. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm down with what they want to do here. And look, like we talked about off air, you mentioned, I played No Mercy like crazy, crazy hours and hours. I think I still have my Nintendo 64 with the No Mercy cartridge inside of the N64 back at my mom's attic in Virginia somewhere. I was such a fan of that. Played it at Florida State for days and days and days, weeks and weeks and months and months. Just loved playing. My friend Andre Gordon, who's a big pro wrestling fan, my friend Matt Burke, the three of us would play triple threat matches for hours on end. We just sit there with like tubs of peanut butter, one tub of peanut butter each, and just sit there with water to just supply ourselves as we played. It was just awesome. And so I have not been moved by a wrestling video game since that time. And I've tried some of them that have come out for the PlayStation system. That's what I've had usually. And I haven't felt that same magic. So if maybe AEW brings that magic back with some of their games, I'm 1,000% down, man. 1,000% down.
Well, what I'm really excited about is, I've tried it too. Like, I would buy the 2K series every couple years. I would buy the new WWE 2K game. I tried Fire Pro Wrestling World when it came out, and I thought that game was a lot of fun, but the learning curve is so steep that it makes it kind of unenjoyable to play unless you're going to play all the time. Then I'm sure people love it and it's fun as can be. Right. But for a casual gamer, I don't think that game was for me. But yeah, like WCW NW Revenge, dude, we spent months and months inside playing that game all day long.
Yeah, man.
Just the controls were simple and it was super fun. It had an arcade feel, but it was also a little bit more realistic. If you wanted to be, sometimes you could do that, or if you just wanted to have fun with your buddies, just whack each other with weapons, you could do that too if you want.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're taking it back to basics essentially and coming out with a game like this, it's going to have a little bit of an arcade flair, but enough of a call back to a time where we like. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, agreed. Chris Taylor, peanut butter and water and Rocha. Damn, Rocha. Yeah. That's college life, son. That was college life.
Butter and water.
My friend has a picture of me. She lived with us. God love her. She dealt with us playing that game in the living room all the time.
Oh yeah.
But we gave her the master bedroom so she could, do whatever she wanted to do in there with a TV and whatever, so she wouldn't have to mess with us out there in the living room. She has a picture of me playing with Matt and Andre with my spoon in my mouth, fresh with peanut butter. That's the truth. That's what we did when we played at that time. NWO Revenge, WCW NWO Revenge as well. We played it all around that time in the late 90s, mid-90s to late 90s. We played all of them. It was such a blast. So, I hear what you're saying. Absolutely, Aaron. So, going backwards, we'll see. We'll see if they capture that magic again. It would be great.
I see Grimash in the chat saying, I played WWE Supercard, LOL. Don't laugh at WWE Supercard, sir, because I, at one time, was ranked in the top 100 in the world at WWE Supercard. I used to be a banger player at WWE Supercard, but I lost interest because it's a game you have to keep up with every single day.
You do.
And I just couldn't anymore. So, but yeah, I used to be an absolute destroyer at WWE Supercard. So don't hate.
Don't hate.
Don't hate.
Propagate. There you go.
Right.
I don't know what that means. Anyway, all right, what's the?
I also wanted to say something. I think it was Haskell that said he wants to play an updated version of. Let me go back and see if I can find that. He wanted to play an updated version of No Mercy. Yeah, it was Haskell. They still have, like, if you're good at modding and stuff like that, you can actually get an updated version of WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy with updated rosters. If you're smart about something like that, I am definitely not. You can get updated rosters on your computer with like the emulators and stuff, and they are excellent. Like if you go look at like YouTube videos of it, a lot of fun.
Really? Okay. All right. Good to know. All right. What's our next news story here? Oh, wait. I'm sorry. We've got a Streamlab from Hill Mellums.
Hill.
Thank you, Hill. He said, Zelina Vega being released has me bummed, but I hope the best for her. Would still like to see her in the ring somewhere. My two positive WWE moments this week, Paul Bearer documentary and Leon Ruff beating Gargano on NXT. A fun surprise a la 1, 2, 3 Kid versus Razor. So there's a new Paul Bearer documentary on the WWE channel?
Yeah, it dropped this week. I haven't got a chance to check it out yet, which is why it wasn't on our rundown. But
maybe we'll record a quick review of it. I want to watch it. This man motivate me to watch it this weekend. I didn't see the Leon Ruff match. Was that a good match? Did you watch any of that?
Yeah. So Johnny Gargano, is the North American champion, has this like curse on him that he's never defended a championship whenever he's had a championship match. So he comes out there and he's like, "I'll take on anybody." And he takes on Leon Ruff, who's this, skinny guy. Like, there's no way that he'll beat Johnny Gargano. Lo and behold, he gets distracted. Gargano gets distracted by Damian Priest, and Ruff beats him. And not only does he beat him and become North American champion, when they go to put the belt on him, the belt is so big that when he lifts his hands up, the belt falls to his feet. It's just so good. It's so good. And Leon Ruff is a good wrestler. Watching back in the Evolve days. So he's a good wrestler. It was pretty fun. It was a pretty cool turnaround.
Yeah, fair enough. That's great. I love it. And thanks for the heads up on the Paul Bearer doc there, Hill. I will absolutely be watching it. I loved Paul Bearer. Loved him.
Oh, yes. Undertaker. Speaking of which, did you see? I don't know if you saw this. I had to send this to you. The Undertaker photo shoot that they did, where they had different superstars dressed up as the Undertaker. Like they had Jeff Hardy, Sasha Banks, Jeff Hardy, or I said Jeff Hardy already. I meant to say Alexa Bliss, Nakamura, AJ Styles. Like it was pretty cool. I have to send it to you. Just like different eras of the Undertaker
I love it.
Nakamura looked really cool as the Undertaker. I wish he would kind of do that gimmick, to be honest.
Done. All right. What do we got next here, Aaron? What's our last? Is this our last story of the day?
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and skip the Tropicana Field story, and then we're gonna go to an update on season 3 of Dark Side of the Ring. Of course, that's a show that we love. Dark Side of the Ring. We reviewed every episode from last season. Just a quick update for you guys. Season 3 is going to have 14 episodes. We now have some confirmed episodes. The Collision in Korea, which was a WCW New Japan joint pay-per-view, which went very sideways. We also have Grizzly Smith and his family, including his son Jake the Snake Roberts and his son Sam Houston, if you remember that.
Oh, yes.
And Grizzly Smith, best known for being a guy that a promoter and a wrestler that enjoyed the company of younger ladies. Let's say, it's bad. Let's say teenagers, and it was no good. And he was an alcoholic, and it kind of set the stage for Jake and his downfall. So that'll be a very interesting and probably very sad episode. Also, the 2019 Saudi Arabia plane ride from Crown Jewel. Now that is going to be something I'm really, really looking forward to, because I want to know what happened. And the good thing about this is there's going to be people that aren't going to hide behind the WWE corporate line, because like Gallows and Anderson, they've been talking about it. They're released. So they're going to be able to talk about what happened, what actually happened. That is going to be amazing, and I cannot wait for that. That's what I'm definitely looking forward to. But Dark Side of the Ring is coming back. I'm excited for it. What do you think about these couple episodes we know about so far?
I'm beyond excited, especially the Crown Jewel one for sure. Anything involving Jake the Snake gets me excited as well. So I'm down with these episodes. I want to see some. I mean, I don't know anything about Collision in Korea, so I'm excited to learn more about that. Maybe I'll do some research on it now, because I had no idea about this pay-per-view at all. So I want to take a look and see what this was all about. And if they're going to profile it, Lord knows they've covered some debacles on the first 2 seasons. Like the, what was the one the last time, the boxing one? Woo!
Brawl for All.
The Brawl for All was an awesome episode. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with this Collision in Korea episode, exploring that and that plane ride. It's amazing how they're able to do WWE stuff, and the WWE doesn't try to shut them down. I find this to be a fascinating development, because usually the WWE is super anal about protecting their brand. And I wonder if maybe, I mean, they went after Snuka killing his girlfriend with Vince, possibly being an accomplice here. And that hasn't got them shut down. So I'm shocked at the kind of subjects they're tackling and not getting shut down by the WWE. Truly.
Man, I cannot wait for Dark Side. I can't help but smile, because I know that, and that there are people out there that push back against Dark Side of the Ring. We've talked about that before, and
Gilmore does,
just don't understand. Come on, Brad, I don't understand that.
I love Brad. But I think it's ridiculous to try to bury the real stuff that goes on behind the scenes, the dirty stuff that goes on, and some people just want to believe in their institutions. But the truth is, there are people who need to see all of it to believe in it one way or another. So sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
It's like being a movie fan and just watching Disney animated movies. It's like, that's not movies, man. Like you gotta put yourself out there. You gotta see everything. You gotta watch the dark and gritty. You gotta get into that stuff. You gotta watch The Irishman. You can't just watch Peter Pan all the time. Like, there's got to be a little dirt on you.
You gotta you got to have all the information so you can make an informed decision. That's basically how life should work. Ratnik says, I really hope they talk to Rusev about the Crown Jewel flight. He was publicly livid while under contract. He's free and clear. Talk about it all you want, brother. I'm sure they'll get him for it. I'm sure they'll get a lot of AEW people about it, talking about WWE. I wonder if there's an NDA in place. I really hope not, but I don't think there is, because Gallows and Anderson have talked about it pretty publicly. I think there's another super chat that you may have skipped. I really want to know the answer to it, to be honest. There you go. And Chris Taylor has the Jeff Hardy as the Undertaker picture for his icon, so that's what Jeff looked like. It was pretty cool. Smooth or crunchy peanut butter, Rocha? Always smooth, son. I don't deal with the crunchy.
What kind of peanut butter do you like? Because my dad always told me, this was sage advice. Okay. He said, son, there's 2 things in life that you never go cheap on:
Yeah.
And it's peanut butter and toilet paper. So
Okay.
you go cheap on everything else. You get the store brand ketchup, but you better not get store brand peanut butter or toilet paper because you're just going to be in for a bad time. What kind of peanut butter do you enjoy?
I enjoy the natural, creamy Jif peanut butter.
Yeah, that's the best.
I can stack. Like if I'm not in the mood for a big dinner at night and I've just been working or whatever, a few spoonfuls of that peanut butter will set me up for the rest of the evening, and I'm good to go until I get to bed. I love it.
It's the goods.
Yeah, absolutely. You cannot erase the importance of a good peanut butter jelly sandwich if you need it when you're rushing around doing a bunch of stuff in life.
Struggle meal from Broadway Flavor. Peanut butter and water. I hear you, brother.
Stay alive.
Rocha hears you for sure.
Stay alive, son. And Chris Taylor said, "Your dad is very wise, Turner." Your dad
yes, he was. Very wise.
No. Sorry, Scott Welsh. She's unsubscribing because I said smooth. Sorry, Skits.
I used to be a crunchy peanut butter guy, and then I was like, I have texture issues with food too, so that didn't help.
Yeah, I chipped a tool. I chipped a tooth once with crunchy, and I've never gone back. I
broke a tooth on a chewy spree once.
Oh, what?
While watching The Patriot with Mel Gibson at the movie. So,
AZ Badfish, yes. A little bit of honey with peanut butter is great as well. Absolutely. I've had that as well.
We're officially off the rails.
Yeah, we are. I think we should wrap it up here. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching this live episode of Strong Style. We always appreciate you all taking time. We had almost 90 y'all watching us live at one point, so thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us and hear our thoughts about all the news that's going on in the world of professional wrestling. Aaron, where can they find you and everything you got going on?
You can find me on Twitter at Only Aaron Turner, where I will not be holding my microphone, but also something that's very interesting to me. The world we have going right now, there's a lot of insecurity.
Okay.
And I want to take a second to talk about relationships.
Oh boy.
And the reason I want to talk about relationships is because if we've learned anything during this year, it's that relationships are important.
Yes.
And the relationships you make with people are important, big or small. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because I've had a personal, awesome thing happen in my life, but it was also tragic at the same time. My mother-in-law had a transplant surgery this week. Everything went fine. She's doing great.
That's good.
But the cost of the surgery was another person, had to die for that.
Right.
And
of course.
And it was somebody that we had an attachment to. So it was a very tragic thing, but also a very happy thing at the same time. And I just want people out there to know that what I'm trying to say is, like, cherish your relationships with people, because you never know when something's going to happen. You just never know it. And if anything this year has taught us, family, friends, super important. Hold on to them for dear life. And wear a mask.
Yes, absolutely. Aaron, you're one of my friends and relationships that has taken many twists and turns. And so I will tell you now, on the heels of that, I appreciate you very much. And I appreciate us doing this show every week. And I'm sorry to hear about the loss, but also happy to hear about the result of that loss, sending something positive in your family. So, that's life sometimes, brother, man. It giveth and it taketh away. And
it does.
As you get older, that becomes the standard operating procedure of life. And so, but I'm glad at least something positive came out of this. And so I send you best wishes and thoughts for your family for sure, my man.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And please remember to subscribe. Hit that red button down below and subscribe to this channel. Leave us comments. Leave us likes. The more likes, the more comments you leave, elevates the visibility of the show. Last week, we got over 1,100 viewers on that show. That's great. Keep it coming, ladies and gentlemen. Keep viewing the show. Keep coming and tell people about the show. Tell people to get involved here on Strong Style. We tell our truth of what's happening there in the world of entertainment. We're not hamstrung by brands or anything we're promoting. We tell our truth. You get authentic, raw, unfiltered opinions here on Strong Style for sure. All right, now that you're done with us, please head on over to the Schmodown Entertainment Network. They've got the live pay-per-view happening right now. The Wildberries, the Civil War of the Wildberries. Josh McCouga versus Elliot Dewberry is the headline match tonight. But before that, you're going to get a really good match between Video Drew and Jen Kemp going at each other. So please Go and watch that. And don't forget this weekend for Kevin Smets, we're doing the hashtag Smash Cancer Charity Streamathon starting at 3 p.m. tomorrow over there on the, I think it's on one of the networks there, I think called Action or the certain point of view. I can't remember what network it's on, but go and find that. We'll be going from 3 p.m. all the way to 5 p.m. on Sunday, probably 6 p.m. on Sunday. That'll be the thing. I'll be there at 3 with the guys rocking it out, having a happy hour with Mark Ellis and Janish and all those guys there. And then I'll probably come back the next day on Sunday and hang out with PJ at 9 a.m., one of my favorite people on the planet. So come and be a part of that and get involved in all that. $10 and above on the Patreon, they get it for free. $4.99 if you want to go and watch the pay-per-view tonight over there on SCN. All right, that's it. We got to get out of here. Take care of yourselves. Much love to everybody. Be safe. Wear a mask. And come back and see us next week for another brand new episode of Strong Style. Yeah. Oh, yeah.